What's going on, YouTubers, gamers and hobbyists? Welcome to P&Q, the question and answer series where you get to ask me questions or put comments to me and then I respond to you the following week. Now, you can do this one of 5 ways. The first and most obvious way is obviously to put your comment or question down below in the comments section or here on YouTube. That is the most common way. Or if you want like an anonymous response, you can email me directly at miniwarzone@gmail.com. There'll be a link in the video description below for that one. Or if you make a video yourself and ask a question on it, I pick that up, I'll answer that here as well. Or if you meet me in person and we talk and discuss stuff, I might use that here as well. Or the fifth and final way, and this is expanding all the time by the way, but the fifth and final way is social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, that kind of thing. Right, so I have one video question, one personal question, and then the rest are comment questions left from last week's show. So I'm a sip of my Willowbark tea. Okay. Now the first one is a video question, comes from Kuja and Kiwi on the Hyra Hobby Sunday. And the question is, what was your main decision behind the army that you run? And what was it about the army that made you want to play it? Well, the main army that I ran at the time, still is my main army, it's Tyranids anyway. But that was the first proper army I got into with 40k, it was Tyranids. What was it about that army? Well, I just like monsters in space, I guess. I love the idea of monsters in space and aliens and all that kind of good stuff. I saw some bat reps with Tyranids in, from the mini wargaming site, and it just looked so thematic, the way they ran across, charging across the board, the table, and I thought, I want to get into them. I just want those. So I got into Tyranids and I love the lore and all that kind of stuff. It just flowed naturally. It seemed a natural progression. Great question, because I'm still into Tyranids at the moment. I think they'll always be my main love, but yeah, Tyranids definitely. I just like monsters and I like sci-fi, and that's a good way of combining the two. Okay, great question. Okay, next I have a personal question asked by a friend of mine. He says, do you use miniatures when you roleplay? And this was before, obviously, we got talking about role-playing and stuff. And it depends on the role-playing game, it really does. I like to use miniatures, but then I'm equally happy just with pen and paper and using, theatre of the mind, that kind of stuff. Happy with that as well. I think as long as you create the story and put out the narrative in a good way, you don't need it. Miniatures are definitely handy for certain situations, particularly combat and party order, and you eliminate certain arguments. But yeah, so I kind of use a mixture. But like I say, it depends on the game. D&D, I do like to have a few miniatures, a miniature representation of the characters and some monsters. I do like that. There are other games I've played where I've not used any miniatures. I've played D&D with no miniatures, of course, as well. Just get so into it. But yeah, it depends on the game. And I'm currently looking to get into a new role-playing game as it happens, and this is kind of how the conversation with a friend of mine came about. And yeah, so I will look for miniatures for that to inspire me, but if I don't find them, no big deal. Okay, thank you for that question. Right, from the comments left on last week's video, okay, the first one comes from Super Wargamer, and he says, do you think that a race like Tyranids actually exists somewhere? Yes, of course. I think in existence there is infinite possibilities, so there's an infinite number of realities and an infinite number of outcomes, so definitely somewhere, someplace, there is Tyranids. Right, the next one comes from Frost and Fists, and this comes from Freak from the Frost and Fists channel. He says, fantastic Q&A, Pete. I will never forget my first time exposure to the hobby when I was invited by Mifos to the game night. I watched him play his friends play 40k. I was so excited to watch. I also remember watching Fawlty Towers with my dad as a kid. Really funny show. Yeah, it's an old one, that, isn't it? Fawlty Towers. And as for watching, your friends play 40k or any other game the first time, that sticks with you, doesn't it? It's kind of very, like, the first time I saw 40k being played, yeah, that stuck with me. I'm like, I want to do this. I want to do that. It is very exciting, and I'm the same when I see any other new game. I think that looks cool. I like the look of that. What is that game? And you find out about it and get into it. Fawlty Towers, I've seen a few of those. I've not watched them all. I don't think they made that many of them, that particular series, but I've seen some of them. There's some definitely good moments in Fawlty Towers, some classic moments. Question for next week. I understand you've been to the States on occasion for holiday. After sampling the local food, what has been your go-to meal here? Cheers. Well, it's not the healthiest of meals, but when we got to Florida, I remember it's been a long journey, and we were, it was, by the time we got to where we were staying, was a place called Davenport in Florida, and we were tired and hungry, and we stopped off in Davenport. It was literally just right next to where we were staying, to be honest. We didn't realise it at the time. I picked up a couple of things for the morning, like some cereal, milk and eggs and whatnot, but we were starving, like absolutely starving now. We needed to eat now, so we went into a pizza place called Pisano's and ordered and I've written this down, chicken bacon ranch, and that was our go-to meal. It was like chicken bacon ranch pizza from Pisano's Davenport, and we had that a few times whilst we were there over the fortnight, and it was to die for. So much better than the pizzas back home, so much better. I even got my Florida t-shirt on, like, well, can't tell, but it's my Florida t-shirt. Yeah, chicken bacon ranch, that was my go-to meal in Davenport in Florida. I'm sorry to say, because it's not, probably not the healthiest of meals, but man, it was so good. So good. Okay. Frost and Fists again, this time Wolf Brother Mifos. It says, awesome episode and excellent answers, my brother. For next time, we've talked a lot about models all the time, but what terrain have you done that you're most proud of? Well, the terrain I've made that I was most proud of was a couple of years back when I entered Nick's Terrain Square competition thing. It was actually a circle that year. If I remember, I'll leave a link up there, and you can go and watch that, just so you can see what is the terrain piece I'm most proud of making, and that was the one I'm most proud of. It's a great, fantastic idea, because you get an awesome piece of terrain at the end of it, or at least half decent piece of terrain. I mean, terrain is not something we go to make an awful lot of the time. There's a select few of us, I think, that do that, and we just we don't do it enough. So the terrain square competition is a very, very good idea, I think, but that is definitely, if you click on the link, that is the one I'm most proud of. It was like an abandoned factory, sewage works, whatever you want it to be. It could be a lot of things, really, but yeah, that's the one I'm most proud of. Okay, Black Country Wargamer says, I know you like Batman games, so are you interested in Gotham City Chronicles? Are you interested in Gotham City Chronicles? If it's the one I've seen in the Tabletop Gaming magazine, yes, that looks quite cool. The miniatures look cool. I'd be tempted to use those miniatures instead of the Night Models ones, to be honest, but they look super cool. Interested in it, but not enough to invest. I'll stick with Batman as the Batman game, so I'll stick with that system. But yeah, it is definitely an interesting. It looks interesting if it's the one I'm thinking of, and I think it is. There can't be that many Batman games out there, although someone will probably prove me wrong. Okay, thank you for your question. Idic Beer 40k says, "Nice one, Pete. Yeah, too many great sitcoms to choose from. Hee hee. Do you think that one day humans will be integrated into computers somehow?" Well, that's an interesting question. Yes, I do. And if you look, it's already started, and it's been starting for a long time. This has been happening. Getting the kids and the younger generation addicted to technology. And if you just look around you, they'll be glued to their phones. Now we're moving into the next phase of this kind of takeover, which is wearables like the iWatch and the Fitbit watch and things like that. And you can get glasses with things all integrated in. The next phase of that is going to be the implantables, where they're going to implant technology into human beings, which they're doing already in certain companies for like security pass systems, and they want to do it for monetary purposes as well, so you can just have your credit value on you at all times. It's scary. Yes, I think we're going to be integrated into computers eventually, and then the computers will take over and run us. Thank you for your question. That's my phone, and I forgot to turn it off. I'm sorry. Basic Miniature Painting is next. He says, "Hi Pete, great P&Q. A question: if you could be anyone in history for a day, who would you be and why? Keep up the great work." That's easy. I'd be Einstein, because he's so brainy and he knows stuff. Yes, I would be Einstein so that I could actually work out the theory of relativity and know what the heck he's going on about, because I just don't know what he's going on about. Yes, Einstein. And last but not least, we have Underdog Painting Bazaar. Says, "Cool answer. I hate Tyranids. Well, I love the models, just being put off them by painting 6k points worth in 2 months, lol, for a commission." Yeah, I can see why that would put you off. I mean, painting 6k worth of any army, I think, in 2 months would kind of put you off that for a bit. My question this week is, what army should be concentrated on next time? I.e., what type of unit HQ transport would you like to see? Oh, my phone. Be quiet. What army should be concentrated on next? What for? What? For me, if we're talking for me, I'd like some vehicles, but not large vehicles, like attack bikes, but not attack bikes. If that makes any sense. Thunderfire cannons. Some more guns for our Imperial Guard. If it was Tyranids, see, I run a lot of armies. Tyranids, I want Flying Hive Tyrant. That's what I want, a Flying Hive Tyrant. That will make my army a bit more playable. Not in a competitive sense, but it will be more competitive than it is now. I mean, at the moment, only flying units I've got are harpies. Is a harpy and a load of gargoyles. So yeah, so I probably would say the Flying Hive Tyrant, or 2 would be cool, but 1 would be fine. I think that would be more than sufficient for my games I play with my friends, because we're not really into the super competitive stuff, or even have remotely competitive stuff. So yeah, but for those moments where it can get a little bit, I want to beat you this time, or I want to give you a run for your money, then I need a Flying Hive Tyrant. Great question. Thank you very much. And that is all I've got time for. Well, not all I've got time for. That's all the questions I have. So keep those questions rolling in. hit the like button, share the video around, hit the bell notification button on the thing down below, and you'll get notifications of when I upload, which is quite often. Check out my Patreon if you are so inclined. There'll be a thing at the end of the video, you can do it, or a link in the video description below, you can do that too. And yeah, I thank you all for your questions, your comments, your thoughts, and I look forward to hearing from you from now till next Monday. So keep them coming in. Remember, all brushes lead to all, and bye for now.